It's Tom coming at you with another game of Hardcore Minecraft. And today, we're going back to build the river. No surprises here. We don't believe in surprises. Only in doing exactly what it says on the label. No variations. You know me, incredibly focused. So we're gonna get to it. I mean, relatively to it. Goodbye, Garuda. Who's a good Garuda? Who's the best boss? We're gonna go ahead and put the disc up real quick. The crew's all together. But now they're gonna hold down the home fort, and we're gonna pop on over to the river, which gets closer with each passing minute. Like, it's gonna be so awesome so soon. It's already very nice. It will need some work, but that's what we're here to do after all. Did I bring my bed with me? Yes. Do I have enough space in my inventory? I mean, theoretically. Can I fit shulkers in the bundle? No, I should have known that already. Doesn't matter. Back to it. So we're just going to chip away here. First at the top, and then further down. And we're just gonna, go in one direction, forward, backward, side to side, and then eventually, before too long, we'll find that an average amount of our dreams have come true. And that's just what I believe is going to happen. You don't want to believe in too much. Like, not all your dreams, just some of them. That's what you got to go for. In here, we've got, like, we're not doing this in any sort of regular way, quite obviously. So we're going to be running into situations all the time where we get, little hanging blocks, which is fine, like, eventually the water will catch up to it, and we won't be having any trouble out of it. But, if you don't leave it in the first place, then it's much more aesthetically pleasing as the river progresses if you don't have, the hanging stuff. At least, in my opinion, that is so. And, oh man, this is going to be so great. It's going to be like an average amount of great and then a little bit more than that. Very exciting. Because the thing about having, good tools is these projects don't take a long time. Well, I mean, it takes some time. Other people would probably just build a machine to use a laser beam to carve out, like, a huge chasm in the world. As I say that, I know it's not a joke. Somebody definitely has done that. People do the most outlandish and wonderful things in Minecraft, but I like digging, I'm a simple guy. Because the real magic happens, of course, when you throw down water and then, like, you plant more of the kelp and then it just suddenly overtakes everything. But we can wait a little bit for that. And then, of course, a little bit of coal goes a long way. You get, a little bit of experience, which is nice. A little bit of free or at least cheap mending is a handy little thing to get for your pickaxe. Of course, we've got our our full inventory again. Well, fortunately, we've got a secret chest of both dirt and non-dirt materials. Yeah, it's really not enough inventory space, is it? Not for all the things that we are likely to run into. Well, that's alright. We'll just get to kelping. Kelp a little bit further, and then more digging. Probably go mend before too long. Just also because, you know, our the amounts of the animals have been getting a little low, so we need to be on top of that. You don't want your herds to be too thinned. After all, you want them to be full, full herds, plump and ready for the harvesting of things that you throw into chests and never use, but also with things that you do wish to use, like experience orbs. This might be getting like a little bit close, water-wise, to where we want to dig, because it will slow you down, you know, if you're underwater digging. But I think we're far enough ahead of where the kelp is. Yeah, the kelp's just back there anyway, so I don't think it would push up further. But you know, we're in position for like some amazing kelp magic, I think, as things progress there. At some point, we should be able to just look back and be like, oh yeah, suddenly a river. You know, it won't happen instantly, but that's part of the fun. Kelp does grow very quickly, though. It's not like you have to wait like a week of Minecraft days. It is nothing at all like that, in fact. It grows like a delightful weed. The most useful plant. I used to think wheat was the best plant, but now, I mean, like, if you can build a river out of kelp, yeah, that's got to count for something. Here we go. We'll just plant some more kelp. Nope, we've got some there. Just wasn't wanting to get taller. It's gonna need twice as much effort out of that kelp. We will put down our hastily constructed blue bed. You know, you're allowed to just sleep in the water, of course. I actually recommend it. It's good for the skin. You know, everybody wants to sleep on dry land, but you know, sometimes if you just lay down in a nice, cool, shallow, nascent river, that's what you're really needing. Oh, a bunch of fiery foes. You don't want to let them get into the water. I think there's a creeper over there. We will slay it for gunpowder. And another one. Similar plans, similar end. 2 amazing shots. 2 amazing kills. Oh, look at them. They put their little feet down into this water source here. Cute. Very cute. That, of course, was all my fault that water source is there at all. That's one of my, that was when we went to the Trial Ruin. Just a scary, scary time. There's a deep dark underneath it, which, man, that was, you know, that was a lot of fun. Can't wait to go back there. No. Whoops. That's all fine. This is like the most peaceful Minecraft hardcore has ever been, because there's quite a lot of flowing water. Like, with the canals, like, there was water, but my whole plan was to get rid of the water flow, whereas here, it's basically essential. Given that we're building the river gradually, we could have dug the whole thing and then filled it up with water, which would have been very cool, but I like this. I was wondering why my music had messed up. A totally reasonable thing. One day I'm gonna write Apple a letter about this free program and tell them how bad it is. So if you have a file in your library that you've deleted, rather than say, okay, this isn't here, move on to another song, it says, this isn't here. I now demand that you click a box acknowledging that it's not here. Which I'm not, like, initially inclined to do, but, you know, like, when coerced by a pop-up message. Hey, Nusa. What's up? So happy to be sitting in the light and air conditioning and playing my video games. Totally traumatized by the experience of not having power. Probably gonna bring it up for the next 10 years. but it gave me plenty of time to daydream about what I would do if I could play video games. One of those things was work on this river, which is exactly what we're doing. School just ended, summer break now? Well, congratulations, good job. I'm sure that you're excited for a little bit of time off. Summer, for me, because it's very hot here and I don't have, school to get out of. I don't love it. So I work in the kitchen, so it's super hot whenever it gets going. But allegedly we're getting a new air conditioner. But one should not believe everything they're told, right? You don't want to believe and then have your hopes dashed. You say you're going somewhere else next year, so that actually makes you sad. Well, that's too bad. That can be tough, but hopefully you'll find plenty of things to like in the new place that you end up. Full inventory, of course. Let's go to the secret dirt chest. That's actually a secret chest for everything. It actually is pretty secret with the kelp around it. Man, it's just too easy to fill your inventory up with junk. Junk like valuable blocks. Sorry, junk. Materials. Look, if I didn't want the dirt, I don't have to put it in a box. I could throw it away somewhere. I know how. You can throw it into lava, right? It just burns right up. But, perish the thought. Look, there may come a time where I want a whole lot of dirt. And, sometimes I want some and I just have to look at 4 chests for it. What if it wasn't there? What if I had to go and dig my own dirt, like an animal? Instead of going like a reasonable person to a chest where the dirt I had previously dug like a gentleman was at, and then use that dirt. That's the kind of world I want to live in. Look, if I have a project and it involves materials, I want the materials to already exist. And that's just abstractly. Obviously, I never build anything in Minecraft. This is more gathering materials than building. Maybe I'll build something someday, as long as that involves digging a hole. We'll need to put in like a creek bed sort of formation eventually, probably. But for right now, it will suffice to just have the stone bottom on it. Hey, Minikman. The artificial river. Do I know how scary that sounds? I guess not. It'll be a short amount of time. Wow, my pickaxe is already at yellow. And this thing normally I never notice it go down. But I guess I haven't been digging very many holes lately. The shame of it all. Where's the river going? Ah, yes, let us talk concept real quick. That'll be fun. I'm just gonna throw a couple more waterfalls here, and then we're gonna get right back to it. Alright, so Elytra, and then that'll give us an opportunity to mend up as well. Maybe go pick some wheat. Maybe plant some wheat. That'll be fun. That'll be a thing we don't see very often. Everybody always says, "Man, Targon, when are you gonna finally plant wheat?" That's what the people want. They've never seen you do that before. River source here at Spawn Mountain, and we're gonna connect it here. As you see, we've already made great progress, but to here. So the villagers fell down here. Some villagers did, and over time, there's 7 or 8 of them down here, and they kept falling. So I built this wall, and then I was like, wait, what if we made a whole sunken city, right? And then and that led to where we're at now. So we've got an area for them here, which we're gonna make cooler. Oh, and this horse ended up downstairs, so we've got a horse down here now. We're gonna think of something going on with the horse eventually, but he's our bro, and he's one of the crew now. We just haven't named him or her. Not sure what the horse's name is gonna be, but. Yeah, so we're going to build a big subterranean sort of city there, like the secret thing, and we're going to fill all this up with water, so it'll be because they fell down just onto the sides, right? They just tried to walk over, and then they fell down, and then they eventually got there, so we got it there. Like Atlantis? Kinda, yeah, kinda. Only underneath a river instead of being swallowed by the ocean, exactly. Yeah, and then, so we're going to cover that up there, and then we're going to push the river through all of this. Maybe make, a big lake here, right there, and then have, a series of waterfalls or big waterfalls here leaning down, and then maybe connect all of this to the ocean there, super long term, but I'm not sure. But that's, what we got going on. Bye, Anosa. Good luck with all of the stuff that you have to finish, and I'm glad that you are doing that. It's important to fulfill our obligations. Right now, my only obligation is to play video games all day long, and I am gonna do it. But yeah, it's been a long time since I had what I could describe as an idea in this game, so I'm excited for this. Plus, it won't take too long, and somebody at work, because I'm always talking about Minecraft at work, obviously. Why wouldn't I? And they were like, "Oh yeah, kelp turns water that flows into source blocks," and then my mind started churning, and so instead of my previous really laborious way of making water sources, which was, individually creating them by having a block on either side, we went into the vastly superior way. Wait, not... I'm why did I put the wheat there? We want the wheat seeds. There we go. So you're a heavy procrastinator. Yes, I too have that feature. But of course, sometimes I just don't do anything at all. That's, so, I wouldn't say it's procrastination, right? Yeah, Mendicman, it's very cool. So you plant the kelp, and then it'll grow into the running water that's not a water source, and then where that kelp grows into becomes a water source block, and then you can break it, and it maintains that. And it's quite striking visually when it happens, if you're planting a lot of it at once, because it'll all push up, and then the water will just rise and rise and rise. And so that's why all of this has happened in the past. I've knocked most of this kelp down, but you just plant your field of it, and then it grows up, and so all of this kelp here is going to push all of this water, and then as it grows, see right there, yeah, we got it right in time. There we go. And you can either bone meal it, or you can put kelp on top of the other kelp, and that'll also make it grow. I think for that you have to be like in the right block for it, but bone meal works anywhere on it. But yeah, so that's a very, very fun and efficient way to make your river. We're just gonna go ahead and put some more kelp down here while we go and mend up our tools, and then we'll I'm like, what's going on? All right. So right there, so like instead of worrying about placing water, I can just place kelp, and now all of this water is just gonna be running along quite beautifully, and it's of course dramatically faster than using buckets or whatever. Kelp grows incredibly quickly, and you get it out of just any ocean, and then you get to here, and you're like, oh man, I ran out of kelp. What'll I do? Well, you can just break all this kelp because you don't need it anymore. And, if you ever wanted to make your river taller, you could just go and plant it all over again. But, I think this is the height for the river that we want once we got it to here. So that's why we're setting it here. Because it would be moderately inconvenient to reset the whole height. You just have to wait for the kelp to grow. Kelp does have a maximum height. I don't know what it is, but I know it does have a maximum height because I've seen it get a certain amount of height and no higher in an ocean. So you wouldn't want to use it for that. But if you could grow it up to that height and then just put like a layer of dirt and then another water layer and use that dirt layer as a seed layer for the kelp and then crash it up, and then you'd be fine. Crash it up. That's not the verb. What kind of verb is that to use for the concept? Unimportant. That's the one I did use, so we're going to stand by it. Never ever say you're sorry for the way you use the English language to inarticulately explain a thing. That's your right. Anyone should be able to be clumsy. Speaking of, we are going to go and feed some cows. Because we need to mend yeah, and sheep. We did eliminate a reasonably large amount of the sheep not too long ago in the great waterbeds made out of fiasco of 2025. I can never remember, and I'm like, oh, well, now that I recall, guess I'll have less sheep. And of course, cows are made of wonderful things like beef and leather, but since I am probably have decided that I'm not going to build 8 billion bookshelves in this world, I might eventually. I need to start doing silly projects here, just banking on the idea that I'll never die. Maybe after I've planted enough wheat, that's what we'll do. When the sky falls. Oh. I had moved the shovel over. That is a way to mend things, but not the thing that I wanted. It's fine. It's crazy how many carrots you get with fortune, or just the seeds in general. I mean, I had already known this, but I guess I only ever normally plant, wheat, so the idea that the carrots, you get, like a full stack for like a little row like that. Pretty nice stuff. But speaking of pretty nice stuff, it is time for more pigs. Very important to get your pig count up in case you need to quickly mend or quickly acquire some pork chops or raw pork, for, your raw pork purposes. Some people need a lot of that, and you don't want to gainsay them. This little piggy ate some carrots. Looks like we've accidentally planted some carrots in here at some point, so that's pretty nice. That gives them something to to aspire to work towards. Alright, a little bit of space there. I could make the fence bigger, and by could, I mean should, but, you know, I didn't get this far in life by doing the things I'm supposed to do. I did it by feeding thousands of carrots to hundreds of pigs periodically. That sounds like it doesn't make sense. Look, I didn't think about where the sentence was going to go. Sometimes, you know, I just start talking without any idea of where the sentence is going to end up, like Michael Scott. I knew where that sentence was going the whole time. That's how to pretend to be spontaneous. You just gotta keep a grip full of office references in your back pocket and pull them out whenever you think it's necessary. Let's go ahead and get the totem on. Let's not be silly, even though it's broad daylight. And get a little bit of sugarcane cut down, even though it's technically not building a river. Technically not building a river at all. It's still very important. And then we will put it in a box. This box into this box. Alright, time to get immediately back to it. Oh, yes, indeed. I guess technically we shouldn't be shaving too much of that off because we need that for the level. Yeah. There we go. Much better. We're just gonna go ahead and lay down again. No reason to give the mobs any opportunity to get excited. You know, we're just gonna... Well, not sleep there. That probably would have killed me, right? Yeah, we wouldn't have been able to lay down and sit back up again. That would have been very unfortunate. I think the game probably just wouldn't let you do it. But, what a way to end a run that would be, right? How'd you go? Lay down in a bed in water underneath a shelf of rock. Like, oh, shame? Yep, the water's been growing too far while we've been away. We need to hurry up. It's gonna catch up. You know, we weren't thinking that much whenever we laid that kelp down. It's gonna, when it grows, it's gonna really push everything forward. I mean, of course, we could just break it, but... And then we can like break the wall around the initial chasm and make like a couple nice bridges, and the people of the town will never know what's beneath because they have very short memories. Wow, that's disorienting. Couldn't see what was going on at all. Maybe we like ran into a like a blank space area. Anyway, we're gonna go up to the top because we need to dig down and get some of that out of the way. And we're not gonna like build this in a reasonable way. We're gonna build it in a haphazard and fun way. Look, I'm not gonna sit here and like plan out digging a river. Where's the joy in planning? You know, maybe some people get it. I just want to dig. No, I'm actually a very methodical person in some regards. But I like to make exceptions whenever it seems, you know, fun. Or reasonable. My ideas of fun and reasonable are, of course, sort of dramatically different than a lot of people's, so it's not important. We've got to be just like so close. Oh yeah. Oh, that's gonna be so wonderful. Just like, this is absolutely not the proper way to do this. There's got to be some semi-methodical way to dig that wouldn't involve me, like, you know, jumping into the middle sometimes. But not really. Not if I start at the bottom like I do. I guess I could not do that. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like there's no reason to inhibit the joy of digging this river with pesky things like productivity, efficiency, and paying attention. Like, what would be the point then? Like, did the river pay attention? Did the river plan? No, the river just grew, you know. Right? Yeah, that's what happened. That's my knowledge of geographical history and my own interactions with this pickaxe. The river just sort of happened one day. And then you get like a dirt section and you're just like off to the races. You're like, oh yeah, this is the good stuff here. Dirt, gravel, they just, you know, they melt before the mighty gaze of the diamond shovel. You barely even notice they're there. And then it's back to, you know, good moral stone crushing work. Takes a little bit more effort. Even the finest pickaxe. Which it is. It is the best of pickaxes. I'm not just saying that because it's mine. If there were a better one, I would find out how to get it and get it. And I'm sure you could, like, mod the game to get a better one. That's not what I mean. Here we believe only in vanilla, only in the most perfect of spices. Flavorings? What even are words? Anyway, I'm not sure if vanilla is a spice. I do know it's awesome. I also know that I can't grow it. I looked into it. There's a bunch of cool stuff that you just like can't grow if you don't live in the right place for it, which is very annoying. You know, like one can't just grow their own coffee. You have to live in the proper place. Yeah, because we could also just do that, right? You can, you know, that's... I didn't even think of how good of an application that would be. Yeah, you get like a hanging one, and then you just throw the water there. Yep. You know, so you don't have to go off of the walls, obviously. So you can just build out a little platform and drop it off in the middle, which is probably twice as effective as going in the middle. Yeah, it'd be very easy to get various ways, because now, you know, if we just go here, you can plant your kelp, and then it would grow. I've dropped my bed. Alright, we need to go to the secret chest. Is it full? Not yet. It is now. We need a better chest. Also, I've dropped my bed. It's not the worst thing. I used to really harp on bed discipline. You know, I wasn't as strong of a player then as I was now. I didn't know anything. No, I mean, bed discipline's still very important, especially when you're starting out. You know, you can't just... Before you have Prot 16 and Diamond Armor, you cannot just casually, you know, mess around in a hardcore world. Not if you want to live to see a bunch more days. You know, you need to have your bed on you. Maybe some people that are better than me just casually run through a night, but like, in my point of view, it's good to lay down when the darkness starts in hardcore, at least until you get yourself established. Some people don't care, though. Some people are very brave. Of course, the Fortune Shovel just makes all gravel turn into flint 100% of the time. So you can't use one if you want gravel for something. I mean, actually, I could think of lots of reasons to want gravel. Like if you wanted the roadbed of a river to look more realistic. So, you know, we might actually want some eventually. But we might go with more of like a sand dune. I'm also thinking of doing it like... So there's this river, and I'll say the name wrong. I think it's like the Caño Cristales. Caño Cristales? I don't know. But it's in Colombia, I believe, and it like has these flower blooms in it, and like these pools that like are lots of different beautiful colors. It's very striking. I saw it working this strange job once upon a time where I did a bunch of random tasks on the internet, but one of the things that we did there, or that I did, was categorize a bunch of like international tourist attractions based on, you know, random stuff. What they would probably have computers do now, you know, but the technology had not advanced enough to not need people yet, so I was doing that. And so I saw a number of beautiful locations around the world that I had theretofore had been unaware of the existence of, and then, you know, it would be cool to sort of do an homage. French is the worst. I don't mean that. I mean it's the worst for me because I don't know how to say any other words except the ones that I do know how to say, and then it sounds like I'm putting people on whenever I pronounce them right. Like Arkansas. It's like, you know, if we could get creepers here, that would allow us to use their explosions to explode open the whole wall. Like, if I just go forward a little bit, we'll break out, right? 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 Yeah, there we go. I knew it. It's always nice to have, like when you're sort of close-ish to the end of a project, to have a nice little light at the end of the tunnel, so that you can turn around and be like, that's where, you know, phase 2 of the project begins. Right there. That's where we break out into it. And now we know. It's not too far. Not too far at all. Almost got crunched. I don't know how much damage they do. I don't think they like insta-jib you, but you know, one never wants to learn the hard way. We will just artfully dodge it. Of course, even more ideal would be to just dig slightly underneath it and have it fall in to be part of the realistic roadbed. But we can't always be relied on to remember that. And then, of course, also you get weird irregularities. Well, that won't work. Okay, let's try this one more time with feeling. We'll go around. All right, we'll go around. There we go. And of course, while we're doing this, the villagers also stand a great chance of becoming World End, but you know, those will be the others that form the core of the community, right? Whoops. All right, that'll be enough water for a little bit. That will be some kind of inlet. All right, we need more boxes, more boxes. Hi, Light Holy. How are you? Do I have any random wood sitting somewhere? Probably somewhere, not really here. Alright, we'll go cut some down. Oh, I'm doing just fine. Enjoying my day off, building a river. But of course, part of building a river is having a whole bunch of materials that you don't have inventory space for, if you're me. And so right now we are endeavoring to get enough wood for some more boxes. Where first we will lay down in the cool embrace of the river. Very important. You don't want to stay awake too long in the night, or you got to worry about all the creepy crawlies in the morning. I want to line the chest neatly after. What I normally do is put stuff in the chest and then never go back to it ever again. That's my preference. But I can't just throw the stuff away, right? Like, look at all this nice dirt. What kind of person would I be if I didn't preserve it in a chest somewhere? And then theoretically, if I later wanted it, I could theoretically remember where I had put it. And then very quickly and skillfully just go and grab it out of that chest wherever it was. And the more I sarcastically talk about it happening, the better chance it does have of actually happening whenever I need it to. Throw it in lava? No, you can't do that. I mean, what if you wanted it later? Like, you can't just throw dirt away like it's trash. This is like valuable dirt we're talking about here. Be like throwing away cobblestone. What if you needed many thousands of cobblestone? Who among us has not sometimes needed far more cobblestone than previously anticipated? What am I gonna do? Like, go and break some more? Absolutely not. No, I'm a gentleman, and I will find it in a chest somewhere. I am building a large river. No, a medium-sized small river. So it connects like the Spawn Mountain. And like this village that's underneath where I live. Here, I'll show it from above. It'll be easier to describe visually. So here we're going to connect this river to this space here, which is just like this chasm. All these villagers fell down there and like over time, and so we're gonna put like a glass bottom thing in, and we're gonna make like a subterranean village underneath this village. But this whole thing is gonna be a river, and then we're gonna expand it over here, probably make a nice little lake there, and then do like a big waterfall over here to that river there. So it'll be like Yeah, yeah, building a river, absolutely. That's what's going on, and it's going great, you know. Oh, it's actually been pretty quick work. I mean, we've only been working on it for like 20 in-game days or so, and I'm not like focused, right? Like I'm always all over the place. But if you think this is dedication, let me just plug my wheat field. Um, and it's in survival in peaceful, but I have lots of videos of it. But if you want to check out that, then you'll see what dedication really looks like to me. Whenever I say it's a lot of wheat, that's just like a teaser because it's actually just so much wheat you would not believe it. Even with me saying it like that, you may not. But anyway, check it out if you want. I'm very proud of my wheat field. Very, very proud. And I hope you'll be impressed if you do watch it someday. But anyway, we're just gonna get back to this. But yeah, we're just gonna dig this little river here. This is just like the first phase, and then we've got like the chasm, and we're filling that in, and then the other part with the lake and all, and then the waterfall era of it, and then we're also gonna alternate with building the underground city for the people that live in the underground, and whoever might fall in while we're doing this. Because it's possible, due to the not really safe construction, there aren't any guardrails. Like, we built this wall, and then immediately after building the wall to protect the people from falling in, said, what if instead we covered them with water? And let me be clear, this is the best idea I've ever had. Right up there with, you should pet the tiger. You float the idea of me having like a Discord channel? Maybe. I need to, it is a good idea. I need to get a different Discord because I only have one that's like, like the private one that I use, to like to talk to friends and family and stuff. I need to get like a professional, a YouTube Discord as well. That would, yeah, and then that would be a good idea. It is a good idea. I'm in a couple. The only one that I'm in, like, for that I get notifications for is like this guy Turin, who does competitive Total War Warhammer commentary. But I know exactly what you mean, where it, like, gives the notifications and all that kind of stuff. But I worry about like unmoderated spaces, and like I sort of like don't want to be responsible for them. Of course, you can get people to moderate it for you, but if you don't, know them, then it's the same as having no one at all. It's like, the gravel was a nice idea, but it ended up sort of getting in the way, huh? Yeah. Alright, well, we don't need to kelp up right there yet. We just need to, we need to keep on digging. Yeah, from the top, though. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Let's yeah, let's quickly get this wall made here. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? We'll have a yeah, we'll just deal with it. We'll deal with it. We're not gonna worry about manicuring the side of the wall. We'll just put water in it if worst comes to worst. Not like it would be the worst thing ever to have to put water into it. But it would be not exactly planned. But hey, a river is what happens when you're digging other plans. I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere. And if I didn't, then you know, I made it up, and that's brilliant. You know, I'm really proud of me for that. Speaking of proud of me, I'm super proud of noticing that that would make a perfect spot for a cobblestone / dirt chest. Not everybody would have been able to notice how good of a place that was for a chest, but I was. I was able to do it due to my long hours of Minecraft play. I was able to cunningly identify the perfect place to throw a chest into the wall. And you know, I don't need praise for it. I don't need them to have a parade for me or build me a statue. Sell little charm bracelets with little boxes inside of walls to, you know, commemorate my accomplishment. I don't need any of that. It's enough for me to know that it was the right place to put one. And just after putting the wall there, we're just like gonna say, no, whatever. After all, after discovering it was a perfect place to put a chest, it was a fine enough place to dig into the wall a little bit. And in any case, we'll want it to be square with there when we go in. We might even expand it a little bit, but we certainly want it to be the breadth of that. Because we're going to dig all of that down, and it's just going to be river all the way. So that should be a fun little project too, rife with falling down and interesting and predictable but unforeseen ways. Because you know, there's two types of foresight. There's the type where you know you're gonna fall, and then there's the type where you knew you were gonna fall enough to not fall. I only know the first type. Digging from the top is much better than digging from the bottom and then trying to dig in the middle, you know, but I did know that all along. I don't want you to think that I didn't know that. But sometimes it's fun to dig the riverbed first. And by sometimes, I mean it's always fun to dig the riverbed first. Doing stuff the wrong way is, you know, freeing. This is the best part of Minecraft. I don't care. Some people like it, you know, different things, but for me, just digging, that's where it's all at. The Ballad of John Henry's Hammer and Me. It's like soon we'll have to say goodbye to this chest, but I mean it's gonna be full full soon enough anyway. And then there's that, like, why would I do that? Like, if I didn't do that, we could keep on being regular about it, but now we can't. Now we gotta deal with the weird hole that I dug because of the dirt. But I mean, I guess, what's the alternative? Swapping tools out every now and then when we're going in straight lines? That's an alternative. Not the alternative. Not the alternative, surely. Those little gravel pockets, they were fun until I started doing more regular cuts in the rock, and now I'm like, oh man, it's really gonna mess with my straight lines. Well, this is going so swiftly. I mean, we can see the bottom there. Good stuff. I kind of want to dig like a ton of it for the second half and then like do a huge fill-in of the river. I think that'd be great. I think that'd be very, very fun. Lisa's gonna, yeah, we should get the coal. We shouldn't be doing the coal in here because we can get more coal blocks. Oh yeah, and you know, theoretically iron. Copper's whatever, but so we can go ahead and take this to the auto smelter real quick. Did I put gunpowder in one of these? I think I remember doing that, which is strange behavior, but then again, I was very focused on digging. Because we're actually, I mean, unless we have some rockets or gunpowder somewhere, we're actually going to have to stay up for this night and replenish our stores, huh? Seems that way. This guy won't buy pork chops. What good is he? I bet the good guy that buys pork chops is downstairs stuck. In what is to be the most promising of all places, you know, the new city. We're just going to drop the coal blocks off in the auto smelter, which probably isn't even doing anything at the moment, but it's a good spot for them all the same. Man, my organization, can't even use that word for it. My lack of organization really chills the blood. It's all fine. Let's just go ahead and get some carrots real quick. I'm sure I have some for the man, you get so many carrots doing a lot of them with the Fortune Axe. It's nuts. And hop on over to the pigs, say hello. And ask them if they will very kindly give me their experience orbs for the benefit of my pickaxe. Yep, good enough. Let me out, or I will strike you down with great vengeance and furious anger. Something falls on a block. Something trips. Where'd you come from? Alright, well he's gone now. Probably a little shadowy cave there. Seems like he couldn't resist chasing after me. Alright, now it's time to brawl. No, first it's time to put stuff into the chest. And then it's time to brawl. Alright, do we have everything we need for a night of fighting? No, yeah, that's right, we need bow in the offhand, sword in the main hand, totem on 7, and now it's time for gunpowder. The most important of all powders. For without it, flight becomes very difficult. This spider is on the sauce. This spider is having a time. This creeper is going to contribute gunpowder to me. I could tell by the way that he was in front of me that he was just desperate to give me some of his gunpowder, and I was happy to oblige. More than happy, delighted, ecstatic, gunpowderful. I think, yeah, these guys are engaged in a duel now. We assisted one, only to cruelly cut him down in his moment of triumph. You know, that's the hard knock life of being a skeleton, you know. One day you think you've got it all going for you. You think that someone in diamond armor is just showing up to help you, but then no sooner than you cast down your foe, you realize that shiny sword is not raised with you. It is against you. Ayah! Alright, where are the creepers? There are the creepers. Skeletons are all well and good. I mean, who has ever had enough bones? I used to think I did, till I discovered all the many wonderful uses for bones. Clean. thought there was one right there. Oh no, it's further over. Yep, much further over. Much further over indeed. If he just doesn't move, then I'll miss him one more time. No, that... Man, he's really far away, huh? Should probably just get closer, huh? Probably gonna disappear by the time I enter the range. Okay, why don't I just forget how to shoot a bow and arrow entirely? There we go. At that point, it's a matter of pride, right? After taking the shot that many times, you're really, for your own sake, need to feel like you can make it. If you're me. But anyway, there's a time I thought I had enough bones. Juggled perfectly. 3 ender pearls out of it. It's like a world record pace ender pearl, right? I'm just kidding. Oh, really, bro? Man, he wants it bad. He said, no, release me from this terrible mortal coil. I have seen you slay my brethren, now slay me! And I was only too happy to oblige. After all, the destruction of creepers is at the heart of this very night. The night of gunpowder. We've gotten 20 so far, so that's like another stack worth of rockets, but we're not laying down so easily. After all, once you get locked into a let's get more gunpowder moment, you might as well spend the night doing it. Here on night 428. This project's gonna let me get my day count way up. No, I had run out of stuff that I wanted to do, and then I guess I should have just thought about what could be cool. No. Everybody's mind works differently, right? Or so it's been explained to me. Sometimes I just don't have an idea right until I do. Wow, that's like 7 creepers in my field of vision. We just need none of them to disappear, and we will be rolling in the gunpowder. Rolling in the gunpowder, not the safest way to maneuver through gunpowder, but it is very flashy. I say for the 1000th time, I really should get flame on this bow. Has so many creepers. Gotta love it. And right in the hour before sunrise, too. Right when it's most important to get all of the gunpowder you can, knowing you'll have to wait. One more cruel day. Alright, good stuff. 28 gunpowder on the night. Nope, even more. We'll find even more. There's got to be some more laying around. Of course, part of the problem with killing creepers from very far away is that you don't always find the bones, but part of the benefit to doing it is you actually get the item, unlike if you kill it up close, which I have never done properly in the history of time. But it looks like we got a couple green-headed foes frowning away on this side, pretending to be camouflaged, and then ending up dead. Thus always to creepers. Man, this one's super far away. I thought it was relatively close. It wasn't. And of course, sugarcane grows like a weed, so just spending some time around here is all you gotta do. We could have a larger automated sugarcane setup. I have a very small one, just really proof of concept. So if somebody says, hey, you should do it, I'll be like, oh, I did, and I elected to plant it anyway. We'll put the extra rockets in the shulker where I will never expect them to be, so if I ever look, I'll be just like so pleasantly excited. I'll be like, oh wait, look, me in the past actually did something nice for me in the present. They put useful things in the shulker instead of resin clumps and cobblestone, you know. I'm so irresponsible. But you know what they say, find the most irresponsible guy you know and put him in charge of building a river. Ah, that would be where the zombie came from. Very clever. It's just so satisfying, you know. You start out a little project, you know, an hour before digging underneath just so you can see the daylight, and now, well... And now, the daylight's right there. All right. Love it when a plan comes together. So very much good digging work done. Hmm. I mean, it's not like the quickest work in the world, but it feels sort of quick. And importantly, it has the verisimilitude that I'm looking for, right? And the more we work on it, the better it'll look. But right now, just like sort of glancing, it looks like a good length for a river. It needs more irregularity. That's the only problem, is that it's sort of long. But there's a bit of irregularity from creeper explosions and the like, which actually helps out quite a lot. It's time to start chipping away at this a little bit. I mean, it's not time to, it's just a time when I am. Knew that was gonna happen, but not in a way where I could do something about it, you know, just like in a I knew it would happen kind of way, you know. Dig from the top. Remember our training. Because anything you do in one single line is fine, right? You just don't want to go underneath that line and then have to go up and do it. Because right here, we're just elongating the trench here. Which, you know, whatever we do on those sides of it will still have to be done. Shouldn't be wearing my elytra to dig. What if we get into a fight? Whoops. I thought we were going to fall further. What a waste of a good whoops. After all the work we went through to put this fence down. Well, you know, putting the fence down is what gave us the idea, right? And it's easier to break than it is to put on, so at least there's that. We'll, of course, keep the upper fence. Even though if they try to walk around this side of it, it won't, you know, function anymore. Like, how old can the kelp get? 25? 25 is like the highest I've seen. It might get slightly taller. Anyway, we're not gonna fill in the kelp yet. I want to do like a real big kelp extravaganza, right? When we go to fill it in again, we're just gonna do like a huge burst of water. My rockets? Like, aha, I can still reach it. We're gonna throw the wall in there, cause I mean, obvious reasons. Like, I don't care about it. And here's like the waterfall for inside of the chasm, which you can't even tell is the chasm anymore because we are so close to the realization of the dream. It just looks like some place that we've already dug, which, oh man, I'm feeling real amped about this. Whoops. A monster here of all places? Outrageous. Like, where's the last place I put a box? Somewhere high up, probably. Is there space in this one over here? Yeah. Alright, should we get more gunpowder? I mean, we need... Yikes. Yeah, well, we can't do too much more without getting a bunch of experience, I guess. Theoretically, this would be a good time to stop, wouldn't it? Theoretically, yes, it would. Man, great progress indeed. Because the rest of the big part of the segment, it's going to go so quick. Like the digging, that was what needed to be done, right? That was what we had to do, was dig the river. The chasm, I mean, sure, we had to level out the inside, but fundamentally, largely dug already. And if I helped, then it was so long ago that I don't even remember doing it. we should go ahead and scoop this water up right now, just because it's sort of getting in the way a little bit. We can always put it back the way we found it if we want later. Poor creeper. He could have just blown a hole in the ground. That would have been helpful. But they never blow up where you want them to, right? It's only around your stuff that they want to pop. Or when you want the gunpowder. Because strictly speaking, we don't even need to make the river any deeper here, right? Like, at all. We could just fill it in, and then it would be river. But I'm kind of having a good time with the regularity of the riverbed, so... Yes, alright indeed. We just need to trim this next wall down. Starting at the top would probably be better. Could just not do it at all. Meh. You know, we'll work on it. Need to find a box to put the junk in. Alright, that's as good as it's gonna get. I'm out of wood. Yeah, no, we're just gonna have to bite the bullet and find a different box. Oh man. It's about to be so rivery. Yeah, that was pretty good. It's a pretty good experience. Oh, right. We couldn't pick any up, of course. Naturally. We can't just leave all the meat out there. We have to pick it up and then put it into a box and then not do anything with it. All right, that's too much already. Not enough inventory space. The bane of my existence, truly. Alright, good deal. The shovel needs some love. Sure wish that guy was a qualified professional. We're just gonna go to the auto smelter and melt down some of this trash. It's like, we're gonna sell some of this leather. No, we're gonna put the leather in this chest where it belongs. Why does it belong there, you might ask? Well, I thought you would. It doesn't. It's there. It's sort of close to kind of where the cauldrons are, and that makes it where it belongs. Alright, we'll melt all that stuff down. I don't think you can actually melt a bow. Can you burn one? We're gonna throw him on the ground and hopefully never see him again. That'll be the dream. I'll let you know how it works out. Gray cat! Alright, so we need... Is this the only wood block keeping this thing together? Probably. Yep. There used to be all sorts of trees around here once upon a time, but you know, as you see, the vestiges of them have not always survived my my deforestations, my depredations, my incursions. But it's all for, you know, a cause. Probably a boat I left somewhere, or a bed I left somewhere, or a box I filled with dirt that I left somewhere. Could be anything. Could be absolutely anything. But really, while more trees would be cool here, these are not like my preferred trees, so we could really, you know, dress it up. We could do like a little dark oak sort of thing. That could be nice. Could just cherry it up more. But we don't need to make any of those choices now, because all we need to do is fly into the air and look at our handiwork. Which I'm really amped about it. I think it's gonna be great. I think once it's built, it'll look wonderful. I think the fact that it's concealing a village underneath its glass bottom will be fun too. I'm excited. Like, I don't know, like, something about my house is, like, too protective, right? Like, they don't even dare swoop upon me here. The beacon frightens them. They're just, like, threatening me. They're like, you wanna come down, bro? I'll just sleep right underneath them and catch them on fire if they're not going to swoop down. I don't care. Yeah, they think they're clever. Nope. It'll let me do it. They won't hit me every time. Yep. Bam! Oh, nope, not quite. Alright, very good. Very good. But here we are at home again. A seed for Garuda. And though there are no viewers here to enjoy it with me, perhaps in the future someone will be here. So I invite you all to sit, stand, or kneel for the national anthem, Pig Step by Lena Raine. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I think this was a wonderfully successful video. You know, we got so much done on the river, and before we know it, it's gonna be a proper river. It's day 431, so a nice 10-day video. We're gonna chip through these next 100 days and be at 500 before we know it. And yeah, so good stuff. Digging in Minecraft is fun, you know, not too much to say about it. I recommend it if you ever have the opportunity to dig a tremendous river. Just go ahead and do that. You're probably not allowed to. Most places won't let you dig a river, but Minecraft will. I've never tried. Maybe I could get a permit to dig my own river. They'd probably just ignore me if I asked. But anyway, that's all I've got for you right now. I think I'm gonna go buy some celebrating that my power is back on pizzas, and come back home and play more video games. So perhaps I will see you in a later stream or video. Thank you so much, and that's all I've got for you right now.